Will we care about Caitlyn Clark moving forward? Let me explain. There's so many things in life that you have pure excitement about, pure joy, things that you got to see, things you got to watch, things you got to listen to. And then something happens. Life kicks in. You know, the excitement wears off. And then it just becomes casually the background and part of your life. My example would be...
Like when you're dating somebody new and you're having freaky deaky time every time you see them. But
Dude.
Eventually it sort of weans off and it's not as frequent as it used to be.
Or as freaky. I wrote down... Look at the first thing I wrote down. We're on the same page. I wrote down shave legs. Not me. Women. When you start dating someone...
You only do your arms.
Only in the beginning of a relationship is a woman usually concerned about every single time she sees the guy she's going on a date with. Is she shaving her legs, manicure, pedicure, makeup's done perfect, everything. Like every time you see that person. And then what happens eventually?
Eventually you pick her up, she has a mustache.
Yeah, reality sets in.
You're like, oh my God.
Who is that? Reality sets in. Happens all the time in so many aspects of life. Danny G, before the show, you were saying sort of like that Cinderella team in March Madness, where at first it's fun to root for them. You're really invested. Then you're sort of like, eh.
Yeah, everybody wants that big Cinderella team, well, that little Cinderella team to go big and go far deep into the tournament. But then the ratings on TV stink once that little team is far into the tournament.
Right.
At the end of the day,
you say you want that, but proof is in the ratings.
Yeah,
Not anyone cares at that point. You know what it's like, too? It's like that new little salad place or something that opens up in your neighborhood by the office or whatever, and all of a sudden you get on this kick, and you're like, yo, man, and you go there for like a month straight, and then all of a sudden you just stop going. You forgot all about it.
It's the true test. I can give analogies all day. I won't. I'll spare you. But
I think I know what you're saying. Everybody's all excited about Caitlyn Clark and college basketball, but when she hits the WNBA, what's going to happen then? That's the real test.
That's the true test. The same way, again, I'll break out another analogy. Morning radio. That's the world we live in, radio and broadcasting. Think about your job. There's things that the new guy or new girl do in the beginning, and it sort of stops. Danny goes, think of every morning show. Early on, everyone's 2 hours before the show starts, prepping, doing their notes, pulling clips, doing everything. And then a couple months into a show, there's always one guy or girl on the show that's showing up right before the show starts.
Well, you get comfortable, yeah.
So the true test is, now that Caitlyn Clark has glamored the world, and I'm not taking anything away from her. I watched, I loved it, I thought it was a great run.
Truthfully, Rich, nobody can. Nobody can. I know there was a lot of speculation on the haters and everything. It's like, does it really matter? You can't take anything away from what she did for women's sports, for college basketball. Had us tuning in. I never tuned in for women's college sports, or basketball, I should say.
So give her
because
credit.
I'm sexist or disinterested. I just never really cared about women's college basketball. Guess what?
She brought you in.
I was watching all the time. Now, your question is, will I keep on keeping on?
And by the way, I was surprised that some of that hate that you speak of came from other women, and women are so big on my wife and her friends, and I always hear people say, like, you know, women support women. Women want to support other women. Meanwhile, like, Taurasi and some of these old school women basketball players are the ones, like, trying to kick Caitlyn Clark down a little bit. And I'm like, what is
Even
that?
this weekend, I mean, I saw Portnoy sticking up for her, but I saw LeBron, you know, big-time players saying, hey, stay away from the haters. Can't be hating on Caitlyn Clark. She did amazing things.
Does you no good. But that's the true test I ask you, and it has nothing to do with negativity. I'm not a skeptic. I'm actually a pretty positive guy. I just wonder, does the love continue? Does the romance continue, or do we, quote, stop shaving our legs? Meaning when she gets drafted by the Indiana Fever, let me ask you, on a Tuesday night.
Rich is immune to the fever.
On a Tuesday night, are you going to be watching Caitlyn Clark in the WNBA playing for the Indiana Fever when the competition level's different. She's not going to be putting up 40 points a game, knocking down 3 after 3 after 3. It's going to be a different game. And she has elevated women's basketball, I think, to a level now where mission accomplished. Intrigue is there more and the game has grown. But I just wonder, Caitlyn Clark herself, is she going to be part of any conversation we have a year from now?
Okay, think about it. 877-99 on Fox to prove your point, Rich. 14.2 million, I believe, tuned in, most ever.
Oh, let me give you another one. I'm sorry.
South Carolina with the win. They pulled away at the end. It was close at one point. Man, it was expected. Again, undefeated. Props to South Carolina. I really think that everybody who was tuning in did want to see that upset, that surprise. Like, oh, wow, and she did it. Because that would have really been a great story. Like, even my 14-year-old daughter was asking me about it.
And that's a nice thing.
Yeah, no, of course. Was familiar with some of the bigger names in the tournament. I was like, wow. And my daughter doesn't even care about sports that much, like at all. So for her to be bringing it up.
And as well, and I think for the Bears
awesome
to have.
But does it stop?
Of her to secure
I think
very
the
few
interest
times
will still be there because you're trying to see how she translates.
TireRack.com studio.
There's a lot of talk of that. A lot of the women in the WNBA saying, hey, all these hot shots, all these stars in college, we're excited for what you're doing, but now bring it to the WNBA and let's see what you got. Same way men get excited about these young hotshot college stars playing in the NBA.
Remember how excited you were to watch Zion's first game?
I just think that, and again, I could be way wrong on this. I think that some of these hotshot college women, like the Caitlyn Clarks of the world, could have impact. I think they could compete.
He changed numbers. In fact,
a lot sooner than some of these men. I could be way wrong on that.
I don't think you're wrong.
I mean, I could be.
I just wonder, like I said, the true test is.
But I'll be tuning in. I really will be. But it still goes back to your point, though, Rich. For how long? I don't know.
For how long? Because I'll give you another one.
Just
you
like
and I.
Anything. Just like
you
that
and
new bar. You love that new bar in town. When it opens up, you're there every weekend. Eventually, you stop going as often as you did in the beginning. It could be anything in life. So I think I'll definitely check it out to see how she translates into WNBA.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'll be tuning in every week.
There's a coffee shop out here in L.A. Danny G, ever go to Phil's Coffee?
Oh, you were all about it.
With the Z, right?
Phil's with a Z. Dude, it's so good. They got these they have like a mojito coffee. They got all this cool stuff. There was like a 2-month period in my life where I'm like, I discovered Phil's. Phil's. F Starbucks. F Coffee Bean. Phil's is my new favorite. I was like, Phil's? I love this guy. My favorite Phil other than Necro or Mickelson.
Hey, Rich, where you going? Phil's. Yeah, Rich was all about
and like
it.
2 months later, I was like, yeah, back to Starbucks.
It's whatever shiny new thing is in the area, whatever new person is in the office. Hey, remember when you got that new receptionist? Everyone was talking about her. She's old hat now because you went on to something different. So who's old hat? Brett Favre's. Who's old hat?
He does have an old hat.
Yeah. Now, everybody's all about Caitlyn Clark. She's the new fun thing to talk about. But much like the sports cycle, it's on to the next. There's going to be another story. And, of course, more people will be tuning into the WNBA. The question is for how long.
Yep.
And I guess that depends on how much she's lighting it up and how, I don't know, how much of a fan we really are. It's yet to be seen. I think I'll be tuning in, Rich. I don't tune into the WNBA. Let's make it clear. For no real reason. I don't want people to make assumptions because there is none. I just don't. But I'll tune in when she's playing for Indiana, the Indiana Fever, #1 draft pick, to see how it translates, see how it works, to see the excitement. And then from there,